I'm the nurse at RSS, and today we're going to be talking about aging better with plant-based eating. So I will share my screen right now. Share. How do I move? They're going to be in the way. How do I move this over here?
Just make it small. Why don't you just make it small? Just press on
This
that.
one?
Yeah, this.
Okay. Where's the next slide? What are the slides move along? Oh, so just click it. Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. So today sure that we get that are reached with this presentation. So the first objective is to understand the meaning of plant-based eating, as this is usually a misconception, and you'll see why. To understand the meaning of antioxidants and free radicals, to understand the relationship between oxidative stress and inflammation, and to understand how plant-based foods decrease inflammation and prevent disease. So what is plant-based eating? And many people think plant-based eating is just eating plants. Plant-based eating is a diet that's low in processed foods. It's also a diet with more fiber than a standard diet, obviously from all the vegetables and fruits that we'll be eating. It's a diet with more vitamins than a standard diet. And it's a diet that it does contain some lean animal proteins. However, the base, most of what you're eating would be plants, vegetables, fruits, grains, etc. So what foods are we eating in a plant-based diet? When we're eating plant-based, we're eating fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts and seeds. It's not completely vegetarian, therefore you can also eat animal products such as cheese, usually unprocessed cheese like cottage cheese, feta cheese, ricotta, eggs, and lean protein such as fish. What do we have to admit this person? So research has shown that plant-based eating can enhance aging by several ways. So plant-based eating can prevent and reverse heart disease, diabetes, and some cancers. And this is because plant-based eating reduces inflammation. Plant-based eating can also decrease cholesterol and reduce blood sugar levels. And this comes from the fact that plant-based eating has a lot of fibers. And of course, plants have less sugar than processed foods, etc. Plant-based eating can also decrease obesity and complications from being overweight. And it can also improve your mood, your sleep, your energy. It can help with depression and anxiety. So how can plants enhance our aging? The way this works is plants can reduce oxidative stress. And to understand this, to understand oxidative stress, you also have to understand free radicals and antioxidants, which I'll explain later. So plants will help to reduce inflammation. So once your oxidative stress is reduced, your inflammation is decreased. And in this way, it can reduce disease prevalence. So to explain oxidative stress is when there's an imbalance between free radicals and the antioxidants in our bodies. And this usually shows up as inflammation. Now, many of you may, not everyone may realize that our bodies usually have inflammation all the time. It's always there. However, it's the antioxidants that we eat that helps to decrease that inflammation and creates a balance again that helps us to stay healthy. So if we have more inflammation and it's chronic for a long time, of course, then we can have diseases like heart disease, COPD, and rheumatoid arthritis. To understand oxidative stress, I'm also going to explain free radicals, and then I'll bring it all together so you can better understand. So free radicals are oxygen-containing molecules with an uneven number of electrons. So for those of you that took chemistry, you may remember that for molecules usually have, you can either have a molecule formed from an ionic bond or from a covalent bond. So an ionic bond is when electrons are exchanged. With a covalent bond, the electrons are shared. So what happens with a free radical? A free radical has extra electrons and it's not balanced. So it's unstable. And because it's unstable, it's looking to bind with something else to make it stable. And because of that, it's usually very reactive and it leads to oxidation. And the stress comes in when there is, like, when you have too many free radicals and there's not enough antioxidants to balance the free radicals that are existing in your body. So free radicals can also, because it's creating oxidation, it can also be a beneficial thing because our bodies are constantly going through the process of oxidation, and that's a natural body process. But it's also harmful. So it becomes harmful when the free radicals causes chronic inflammation, like I said before, and disease, which is where we have that oxidative stress. Does anyone have any questions here? I can repeat this if it's not clear.
Feel free to put anything in the chat if you think that's a little, if you feel more comfortable doing it that way, and I can read it out loud.
So I will go on. The next slide should make it a little better. So how do we get exposed to free radicals? So free radicals, you produce them naturally in your body. When you're exercising or when there's an inflammatory process, maybe you have an injury and you have these free radicals. You can also have them from the environment when you're exposed to pollutants, pesticides, cleaners, cigarette smoke, radiation. If you're eating diets that are high in sugar, fat, and alcohol, you can be exposed to free radicals. So then the antioxidants come in. These are the superheroes. So the antioxidants are the molecules that can donate. They have electrons to donate.
Just move you a little closer, just to see if we can hear you a little better. There we go. There we go. Go ahead.
Okay.
We're good.
So I'm going to go over this slide. So for antioxidants, hopefully everyone can hear better. These are the molecules that have electrons to donate to the free radicals. And even when they donate these electrons, they still remain stable. So then it creates a stable environment all around. The free radicals become stable. Antioxidants give up their electrons and they're still stable. So we remain healthy. So here I have the free radicals, they stabilize. The antioxidants, stabilize the free radicals and make them less reactive. They also decrease the oxidative process. Antioxidants are found naturally in plants. So we have some sources of antioxidants here, which many of you may be familiar with. So there's flavonols, which is found in cocoa. And people would like to say chocolates as well, but with chocolates, you have to make sure that it's at least 75–80% cocoa. If not, it's mostly milk, sugars, and stuff like that. Resveratrol, which you can find this in wines made from grapes, any berries. You should be able to find this antioxidant in those. You have catechins, which are the antioxidants found in green tea. it's found in teas per se, but green tea has like the most. So green tea is the one, you know, that most people talk about. There's lycopene, which is the antioxidant found in tomatoes. I think most people are familiar with this. It helps with your eyes, your vision, making it better. And then we have the antioxidants that most of us are familiar with, vitamins A, C, and E. So I just put a picture with several. Yeah, can you see this?
I know, but that's okay. I don't want to be on camera.
Okay, got it. Okay, so let's go back to oxidative stress because I really want people to understand this. So oxidative stress can damage fatty tissue, the DNA, and the proteins in your body, which can cause premature aging and disease. Diseases such as diabetes, what's that? Diabetes, hardening of the blood vessels, which is atherosclerosis, inflammatory conditions such as rheumatoid arthritis, high blood pressure, which is hypertension, heart disease, neurodegenerative diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So I have a nice big diagram here that shows everything together. So if there's anyone that does not understand after this, I can explain the parts, but I think this should put it all together. So in the middle here, we have oxidative stress. So as I was saying before, you might have pollutants such as cigarette smoke, air pollution, which causes our bodies to get, you know, additional free radicals. Then we have here the pro-inflammatory mediators, which are these two, MAPK and the AP1. These inflammatory mediators start the inflammatory process. So, and once this is started, it cascades down to the airway and causes inflammation in the airway. This is an example of COPD. So on the right here, we have vitamin C, the antioxidants, vitamin E, vitamin D, carotenoids, polyphenols, melatonin. These antioxidants, once we take them into our bodies, they inhibit the pathways, which would be the pathways for the mediators to start inflammation. So then because these pathways are inhibited, inflammation is decreased or stopped, and we no longer get to the point where we have inflammation and disease. So does this help with understanding oxidative stress? I hope it does. Any questions? Okay, so I will continue. So how do we manage oxidative stress? The way we manage oxidative stress is by increasing antioxidants, decreasing free radicals, and eating at least 5 servings of fruits and vegetables daily, because of course, this is where we will get our antioxidants. Here I have some sources of dietary antioxidants, which are easy to find. They're nuts, garlic, ginger, turmeric. I know a lot of people use turmeric for inflammation. It's better. Everything here in the food, from the source of food, is better, has the highest value of antioxidants. So the reason why I'm saying this, because there are many people who take vitamins. So, and I remember when I was studying to be a nutritionist, we did an experiment with vitamins, and we put different vitamins in different liquids. So some were in acid, some were in water, some were in soda, different liquids. So we can see how they're dissolving. And almost all the vitamins were not dissolved, even in 24 hours and after. So, and what that experiment told us is that a lot of vitamins, they basically, you're not getting, it says on the bottle you're getting an X amount of that vitamin, but you're not getting that because it's not all being absorbed and dissolved in your body. So the best source of nutrition is from food. which is why we're advocating for plant-based eating. So like I was saying, you have nuts, garlic, ginger, turmeric, green tea, onions, fish. I know there's a talk on onions coming up soon as well, like Barbara was saying. There's fish, cinnamon, vitamin A, C, E, and cocoa beans. So I'm going to focus on only a few of those, and the first one is vitamin A. So vitamin A is a known anti-inflammatory. It's critical in enhancing our immune function because of the antioxidants that you can get from foods with vitamin A. It's found in sweet potatoes, carrots, red bell peppers, spinach, black-eyed peas, and mangoes. I know many of you are familiar with vitamin A because these are the things we eat often. So here I have some delicious looking sweet potatoes with, and the reason why I chose sweet potato is because sweet potato has, I think, about the highest source, it's like the highest source of vitamin A. It has 204% of the daily value, which is way more than you need. So you just have to eat a small amount to get your vitamin A from sweet potatoes. And here it's baked, which is better because there's not any extra fat in there. It builds the immune system. It gives you lycopene. The way you know something has lycopene is from the color. So lycopene is also in tomatoes. So it's colorful. And as we know, this is an antioxidant, so it provides antioxidative properties. Vitamin A, it keeps the gut lining healthy and therefore reduces inflammation in the gut. So sweet potatoes is very good. This is very good food to eat for your gut health. So the next one that I'm going to talk about is vitamin C. So vitamin C is a potent water-soluble antioxidant, and I particularly put water-soluble because when something is water-soluble, you have to eat it every day. It does not stay in the body. So vitamin C is one of those antioxidants or one of those vitamins you have to eat. Take it in daily. If not, you would not have the properties, that it's supposed to give your body. So it protects the cells from oxidative stress, helps in the recovery of flu and colds. And I said helps in the recovery because some people do have a misconception that vitamin C prevents flu and colds, and the research has shown that it does not prevent it. But if you have a cold or the flu, it helps to shorten the time of the flu or cold, and it helps you to feel better quicker. It reduces the risk of atherosclerosis and cancer because, of course, it decreases inflammation. So this way, you can get those benefits. So here I have a picture. I like this picture because it shows berries. And I do tell people all the time to try to eat berries every day because berries have a lot of antioxidants. And what I usually advise is to mix your berries. It's never good to eat one thing all the time. So like personally for me, I would buy all the berries on the weekend, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, whatever, elderberry, cranberries, whatever. But then during the week, I'll mix like 2 of them maybe on Monday. And then with my yogurt, I'll take a different 2. And then, so this way I'm not eating just like strawberries all week. And then, if you eat, one thing I learned in biochemistry is that if you eat the same things every day and there's a toxicity in that particular thing, you will get it. So I have a little story about that. So there was a patient that I knew and he was trying to eat healthy. So he decided to stop eating meat and he was just eating fish. So he started eating fish, but he would eat one fish all the time. He would just eat mackerel all the time. So mackerel is one of those fishes that's high in mercury. And because he was eating mackerel all the time, his hair started falling out. And he came to the doctor, and of course, when we did tests, We realized that he had high levels of mercury, which can also cause cancer. He was very upset because he's like, I'm trying to be healthy. However, you should not eat one thing all the time because then all the toxins are going to be in your body because you're eating the same thing over and over. So he should have, tried to switch it up a little and eat some salmon and yep. But anyway, he learned his lesson the hard way. So here I have more vitamin C, and pay attention to this slide because I do have a question related to this slide. So here it says all the foods here have more vitamin C than an orange. And the reason why I like this picture is because everyone thinks oranges are the best source of vitamin C. And that's not necessarily so. Here we see the bell pepper has 341 milligrams. The broccoli has 132 milligrams. Strawberries have 85. The kale has 80 milligrams. Pineapple 78. And kiwi has 64. So oranges have less than this. Oranges actually have 45 milligrams of vitamin C. So, and of course, this is a fresh orange without the extra sugar. So it's important to realize we can get vitamin C from all these sources. Now we have vitamin E. Vitamin E also is important. It decreases oxidative stress by producing antioxidants as well. We can see all these foods, tomatoes. Of course, foods have different things in them. So here you have tomatoes again.
I have a quick question here. Somebody put in the chat.
Yes.
Bell pepper, is it just the yellow or all colors for vitamin C?
All colors, but the yellow one I think has more than the green and the red one because of the color. I'm not 100% sure, but it's all of them. All bell peppers have vitamin C. I do think the yellow has more of them, but they all have vitamin C, doesn't matter. And remember with vitamin C, vitamin C is one of those things you should eat it as naturally as possible because when you cook it, it gets damaged and then you don't get sufficient of the vitamin C. So if you can eat it as close to its natural state, then you will get most of the vitamin C out of it. So I hope I answered that question.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So as I was saying, vitamin E decreases oxidative stress, and it's found in nuts, seeds, wheat germ, green leafy vegetables, and avocado, and lots of other foods, of course. Here is just a picture of some foods with vitamin E. So I do have a few questions for you guys, which I'll go ahead and ask, and then afterwards you can ask me any questions. So the first question is, does plant-based eating contain meats or fish? Yes. Yes or no? So you can put your answer in the chat for anyone who would like to respond.
Oh, I'm getting a lot of yeses.
Yeses. So someone said no.
It depends on you, actually.
Okay, so I see a lot of yeses and a few no's, and the answer is yes. So I said this before in my presentation, but I knew it's something that people may miss because plant-based eating is, it means the base is plants. Thanks, Carol and Jackie. And yeah, so your base is plants and you're eating mostly plants. However, you can eat lean meats or of course lean fishes. So, but it's plant-based. So you're eating a lot of plants, way more than you usually eat in your regular eating. Okay, so I hope everyone at least gets that message, that takeaway point. Then the other question is, which one of these reduces inflammation and promotes health? Free radicals or antioxidants? The one that reduces inflammation and therefore it promotes health.
Okay, well, I got somebody says antioxidants, B.
Okay, antioxidants, B.
Okay.
Okay, good job. Thanks, Dale, Rini.
Yep.
And
Let's say
I
the
can't
bees
see
have
that
it.
one. Okay, so yes, the answer is antioxidants. So antioxidants, just remember that's the one that decreases inflammation and therefore makes you healthier. Always remember free radicals. The way I remember free radicals, I always think cancer. That's like, one of the biggest things with free radicals, because when they sit there all the time and they're not able to react with any antioxidants, this is how people develop cancer and all these other diseases. So the way you get rid of free radicals is by eating antioxidants. Remember also, free radicals, you can get them when you exercise, because there's an oxidative process going on when you're exercising. However, after you exercise, this is why you treat your body well and you eat well, because you want to take away the stress. You have to now make your smoothie with berry shakes, or maybe a bowl of berries. I love berries. That's my main antioxidant that I literally eat every day. Because I used to work in a cancer center, and from the research and things that I've read, berries, I feel like you can't go wrong with that for an antioxidant. And of course your vitamin C and A and etc. But yeah. So this question says, which has more antioxidants from vitamin C? An orange or a red bell pepper? A is an orange and B is a red bell pepper.
Okay, so
And Gigi.
we have 1A, one red pepper, we got B, pepper.
Okay, I'll look quickly.
All right, we got bees, 1A and lots of bees.
B's the answer. Okay, so almost everyone said B, and that is correct. The red bell pepper does have more, 341 milligrams. The orange only has 45 milligrams. So just remember, vegetables again, I mean, your fruits here, but look how much you're getting from just eating the red bell peppers. And then I think one last slide. This one, the answer is right here. It says, what do these plants or foods have in common? They all have antioxidants. We have some fruits here. This one is elderberry. I know a lot of people started taking this during the pandemic. It helps with, boost your immune system. This one is ginger. And then you have here like a delicious looking salad with everything you can think of. So, just remember, antioxidants are key for getting rid of free radicals and for decreasing inflammation. Inflammation is what causes a lot of diseases. Rheumatoid arthritis. We all know that, when we're eating a lot of sugary foods, processed foods, they cause inflammation in our bodies. So this is why we should balance this by eating, take a break and eat healthy foods, healthier foods.
I have a couple questions here, Roberta. Can organic and non-organic veggies give good health?
Yeah, so organic and non-organic, they're basically the same, except the organic foods. The one thing I like to remind people, they're not regulated by the FDA, but there is another organization that kind of regulates them, but it's not FDA regulated. So, you just have to pray that they're saying it is what it is. However, the difference is organic foods are usually with less pesticides, grown more naturally. So I think that's the take home, but they would have the same nutrients. It's just that you wouldn't be getting all the additional, like strawberries, for instance, usually has a lot of bacteria and pesticides on it. Organic strawberry would have less or shouldn't have any of those, which is why the organic foods may spoil faster. Like if you pay attention, if usually something organic does not last that long outside the refrigerator. So okay, so I
Okay,
hope
second, well, I have a couple more questions here. Do you mind, or do you want me to wait?
Yeah, I can go through them as well because I can see them. Did you want me to do that, Barbara? The
It's up
next
to
is
you.
what
So
are berries?
what are the berries?
Okay, so berries are strawberries, raspberries,
Blueberries,
blueberries,
blackberries,
blackberries, what else?
elderberries.
Elderberries.
Oh, she's
any
talking
type
about
of
the berries in the pick. So probably the ones that are hanging, the
Those are
elderberries.
elderberries. In the picture, those are the elderberries.
Okay,
Yeah.
and just asking about the pesticides, aren't many of them carcinogenic?
Yes, currently, I know the pesticides have changed a lot from in the past, but a lot of pesticides may still be in America. I know they monitor this. The FDA does monitor, you know, like how much, because even though they're using pesticides, there's a certain amount that you can use that makes it palatable or not toxic for humans to consume. So, you know, this is why some people do eat organic, because organic foods are supposed to have, you know, they're grown in smaller batches, almost like on your own little farm. So, you know, there's not that, it does not have a lot of pesticides. But pesticides in a certain amount would be carcinogenic. However, it is monitored by the government. So your food should not have pesticides to a level that's giving you cancer. But it's still recommended that you wash your food. So I hope that answers this question about the pesticides. So, okay, and then here Anna says the berries in the picture. That's elderberry, like I said before. When are you comparing amounts of vitamin C? What amounts of each are you considering?
Medicare recipient, House Medicaid, private insurance.
Is it possible to get the slides sent to us? Those of us who are on the virtual, because we don't always remember when we get to the store what we should be buying. And be great to have a handy list.
Yes, we can send, as long as Petronella's fine with it, we can send a copy of something to you. With the list.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This yeah, the one about comparing vitamin C. I don't know, where did I compare vitamin C?
We talked about the amount in the peppers versus an orange.
Oh, in that slide. Okay, so I'm talking about the milligrams, like the milligrams in each, but it's not specific to like to say if it's 1 cup of, you know, XYZ has. It's just talking in general of how much is found in comparison to the other food. So that's what I'm comparing. The total amount found in that food from, I guess, 1 serving. Yeah, because when they're comparing foods, they usually look at per serving. So let's see if there are any other questions. Barbara, do you see any other questions?
No,
Because
no, we're good. You can go ahead. You can continue. No. Raw
Okay.
versus cooked. That's what somebody's asking. What about raw versus cooked vegetables?
So raw vegetables are better because then your vitamins are not, you know, you get more vitamins out of raw foods than cooked foods. The cooked foods, like I said, the vitamin C particularly, you know, it's damaged when you're cooking it. So, you know, the more you can eat raw foods would be better. Of course, it depends on the food. You know, some foods you can't eat, like you can't eat a raw sweet potato. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be the same because you know, sweet potatoes has to absorb water to make it softer and more palatable. So but raw would be for things that, you know, you can eat raw and cooked. Of course, for the things you have to cook. But the more you can eat, the closer you can eat the food to its natural state, the more vitamins, minerals, the more nutrients you'll get out of the food. So, any other questions from anyone?
Now, I heard that you get more iron out of spinach if you cook it. Is that true? So for some vegetables, it is might be better to cook it too.
The vitamin A, like, or
For that, I don't know. I'm sorry, I just don't know the answer to that. However, I do know that you shouldn't overcook your spinach. You know, so because if you cook it too much, you know, you will get some of the nutrients lost. So which is why people usually saute spinach, but as to whether you get more out of it cooked than raw, for me, what I remember, the nutrients that you get from it when it's raw, it's there regardless. If you cook it, I'm not sure, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I have a question here.
Okay.
Somebody says, I like to batch cook on Sunday and then assemble and heat bowls during the week. I heat using the microwave. Does that kill nutrients?
As far as I'm aware, no. Yeah, once you cook your food, and the good thing about doing this is actually a good idea, because when you cook the food and you put it away in your refrigerator, this immediately after, I mean, of course, it has to cool, the shelf life will be there. Like if you freeze it or you keep it to the right temperature. So, so that does work. The microwave, you can actually cook some foods. I remember the nutrition school, we actually cooked foods in the microwave from start to finish. So the microwave, you can cook a lot of foods in the microwave and they still remain nutritious.
Okay. Anne was saying about the spinach, she said she read about the spinach slightly cooked is better.
Okay, thanks, Anna, for sharing that information. So, oh, 2 people in the waiting room. Are we still letting people in?
Yeah, I'm got it.
Okay. Any other questions from anyone?
Okay, why don't you stop sharing, Petronella, so we can see you?
Hold on. Stop sharing. Okay, so I can see everyone.
Can you comment on dairy products?
What kind of products for berries are you interested
Well,
in?
no, as far as milk, would almond milk be preferable to the regular skim milk?
Well, the milk depends on what you're looking for in milk. So almond milk, people use that because maybe they're lactose intolerant. The almonds do have proteins and it does have a good taste. Who's asking this question? Sorry, I was just wondering.
I am Loretta Knapp.
Okay, Loretta. So, but in turn, I'm not sure exactly what your question is, but almond milk is coming from nuts. So if you're not eating animals, you're vegan, then maybe you want to eat almond milk. You want to drink almond milk, or also if you're lactose intolerant, regular milk comes from cows or goats, comes from an animal. So if you are lactose intolerant, then maybe you'd want to switch to almond, and the taste is good for the almond milk. The amount of protein, of course, the nutrients would vary. I do believe cow's milk has more protein than the almond milk. I've never looked at the actual amount, but just from what I know, I think the cow's milk will have more nutrients and more, you know, but it does have more fat in the cow's milk as well.
I guess my question is we're talking about a plant-based diet, like the almond milk would be closer to plant-based than the regular skim milk, because that comes from animals. I'm learning a lot. I'm doing baby steps, you know, so I'm just learning.
And you're right. You're right with that, with what you just said. So the almond milk, if you, of course, if you're going to say plant-based, you can use almond. People also use oat milk.
Right.
I don't know if you've heard of that. And it depends on the taste too. So what else? There's another, I mean, there's soy milk. Soy was a popular thing, but now almond is, I think people like almond because the taste is really good. And then for soy, I know there was some research that talked about soy milk. It creates, what do you call it? It's like fake estrogen in your body. And you know, that was an issue for some people because it seems like they had more estrogen Of course, high estrogen levels is linked to cancer. So then I think that's kind of why some people stop drinking so much soy milk.
So Susan says here that almond milk has 450 milligrams of calcium.
Is that natural or added?
The almond milk.
No, I know, because the thing is with some foods, and something you have to be careful with. It might say 450 milligrams of calcium, but it might be added calcium. It may not be naturally there. And that's something that I will have to look up myself. But a lot of foods that don't have the right nutrients, they try to compare it to, you know, like they'll try to compare it to cow's milk. People may not buy the almond milk if you just leave it the way it is with less calcium. So they'll try to over exaggerate and put tons of calcium, which is added to the almond milk just so you can buy it. Because remember, if you're drinking cow's milk, you know, you're getting your calcium, but if you're drinking the almond milk, you're not getting your calcium. So that could be added, is what I'm thinking.
They can add sugar too.
Yeah, I don't think that might be naturally there. So,
Make your own.
where's the chat? Do we have any more questions from anyone? Let me see here. I don't see anything else. All right, so if no one has any more questions, we can wrap this up. I know Barbara said it's going to be available. The slides, I'm not sure how the slides will be available, Barbara. Maybe you can explain that. And I know that the videos are usually on YouTube because I saw myself looking, I didn't like the way it looked. I just don't like looking at myself. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm actually glad I'm wearing the mask. Because
Quickly. Oh, we have another comment here. Some of the plant-based milks have added sugar, so you really have to check the label.
Yeah.
yeah, so you see, I mean, yeah, because usually with things that are, just think about this though, if you're gonna use a milk that's plant-based, even though we're talking about plant-based foods, remember we're sticking to their natural state. That's not the natural state. If they're taking the milk and pressing the milk out and then mixing it with additives to make it, you know, to make it last longer, then they're adding nutrients that maybe when they pressed it, nutrients came out, then they add them back. So, you know, you have to really look to see that it's not processed, because processed foods have a lot of added sugars, added salt, added fats, so they can taste like the real thing, yeah, and so they can taste delicious, so you can want to eat them and buy them. So I think for me, I would advise anyone who's looking to have almonds, eat the almonds, the natural almonds. And remember with nuts, you have to eat the nuts in their raw state, not roasted. When you're eating roasted nuts, you're breaking the bonds. When the nut is roasted, the bond is broken. So then it moves from an unsaturated fat to a saturated fat. And you're losing all the phytochemicals and all the good stuff from the nuts. So you have to eat the natural nut without it being roasted. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Petronella. It was most interesting.
You're welcome, Joan. Thank you for being here.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and thank you, Petronella.
Thank you, Petronella. Thank you for the presentation. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yep, learned something.
And if anybody wants to know, you know, tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock, we have Deborah who'll be talking about beans. And I believe she's going to take one type of bean and give you 3 different easy recipes. Same link. So, you know, you don't have to re-sign up unless you want to, but it will be, it should be really interesting. She comes up with some really good recipes.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody coming, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Excellent.
Thank you. Well done, well presented and organized. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Take care.